Hi students, welcome back to English class. It's Chief Seattle speech, second part. In the previous class, we have discussed about the reasons related to the untimely decay of his tribe. And here, the para starts with Chief Seattle's opinion about the youth of Native American tribe. Let's see what he says about the youth. Youth is impulsive. When a young men grow angry at some real or imaginary wrong and disfigure their faces with a black paint, it denotes their hearts are black and that they are often cruel and relentless. And knows no bounds, and our old men are not able to restrain them. Youth is impulsive. Impulsive means the youths are the people who acts without any forethought. When our young men grow angry at some real or imaginary wrong and disfigure their face with a black paint, their hearts are also disfigured and turns black, and then their cruelty is relentless and knows no bounds, and our old men are not able to restrain them. When a young men grow angry, when the youths of Native American tribe gets angry at some real or imaginary wrong, why they get angry is usually on some real or imaginary wrong, on any sort of injustice, real or imaginary injustice, and disfigure their faces with black. Once they get angry, they disfigure means they paint. They will be painting their faces with black paint. What is meant by painting faces with black paint? That is, they hide their true nature. They become cruel outside. They don't show their true nature outside again. Instead, what we find is their face is painted with black. Similarly, they show only a cruel face outside. Their hearts are also disfigured. Once their face gets angry, once they get angry, it is not only visible in their face, but also their hearts are also disfigured. Their hearts also are painted black. It is also the hearts are also painted black. And then their cruelty is relentless and knows no bounds. Once they become angry, their cruelty is relentless, it is very harsh and knows no bounds, and we cannot predict as to what extreme it will go. Knows no bounds means there is no limit up to how much they get angry. And old men are not able to restrain them. And once they get angry, even the old men, even their fathers or their grandfathers are unable to restrain them. Restrain means are unable to control them. That is what Chief Seattle says about the youths. He says that youths are impulsive. So once they get angry, no one can have a control on them. They react in accordance with the moment's impulse. But let us hope that hostilities between the red men and his pale-faced brothers may never return. So he is telling, but let us hope. Now let us hope since you have made such a good offer to us, and since we are willing to give our land to you, that is the condition now. George Washington, as said, is governor, that is Isaac Stevens, asking with a good offer, that is they are willing to buy the land. And moreover, these Native Americans need not move away from there, they can live there peacefully. So he is telling, but let us hope that hostilities between the red men and his pale-faced brothers may never return. Since we are going to be friends, let us hope that the hostilities, that this enmity between the red men and the pale-faced brothers. Red men stands for Native Americans. Pale-faced brothers stands for the whites. Let it never return. We would have everything to lose and nothing to gain. So he's telling, if we are going to fight with each other like this, we would have everything to lose. We are going to lose everything because our population is limited now. We don't have a good force to fight against the whites. So what is the after effect, or what is going to be the after effect of our constant fight with the whites is that we will be losing everything and there is nothing to gain. We will not gain anything from there. True it is that revenge with the young braves is considered gain, even at the cost of their own lives. but old men who stay at homes in the times of war and old women who have sons to lose knows better. So he's telling true it is. What I said is true. We are going to lose everything. We are not going to gain anything. It is very true. That revenge with our young braves is considered gain. That is, our young men, they have got a notion or they have got a feeling that taking revenge against others is considered gain by them. They think that it is a great thing. I'm gaining something. Though I'm losing life, I'm able to take revenge on others. So they consider it as gain, even at the cost of their lives. They don't mind even killing themselves for the sake of doing revenge on others. They always considered it as gain, the youths of Native American tribes. But old men, but their father or the old people in that group, in the Native American tribe, who stay at homes because they are not very valiant nowadays, they stay at home. In the times of war, whenever there is a fierce fight going on, they stay at home. Who are staying at home in the times of war, and old women also stay at home, who have sons to lose know better. And these old women, when their young sons take part in the fight, they are losing their sons. They know better, they know the truth, they know that revenge is not such a great thing. Through revenge, they are not going to get anything, they are just going to lose everything in their life. It is these old men and women who know the true reality. Great Father Washington, for I presume he is now our father as well as yours. So, since King George has moved his boundaries to the north, our great and good father, I say, sends us words by his son, who no doubt is a great chief among his people, that if we do as he desires, he will protect us. So, our great Father Washington, here stands for the President of Washington, the big chief, or George Washington, as he has assumed. For I presume means I consider. He is now our father as well as yours. So Chief Seattle is telling our great father, that is the great big chief, George Washington, I consider that he is now our father as well as yours. Just like the president or the big chief is the father of the white settlers, he has now become our father also. Why he says so is that he has already given a word to Chief Seattle through Stevens, that through the governor, that he is willing to look after the Native Americans. They need not move away from here, they can stay here and they are willing to look after them. That is why he has mentioned so, our great Father Washington, that is the big chief. I consider he is now our father as well as yours, since he is willing to look after us. Then he has become our father also now, since George has moved his boundaries to the north. George here stands for this George Washington itself, or the big chief. They have been moving their boundary. They have been conquering more and more land, and now their boundary is extended to the further north. So he is telling, since our territory is in his hands, I consider he is our father, because being the master of the territory and also he has given a word that he is willing to look after us. That is why he is mentioned as our father. As moved his boundaries to the north, our great and good father. So he describes him as great and good father, being a generous father. He is calling him as good father. I say, sends his words by his son. I say, sends his word by his son. By his son stands for the white chief, that is governor, who no doubt is a great chief among his people, that if he do as he desires. So what is the word sent by this great father through white chief is that if the Native Americans are willing to do as what the big chief desires, he will protect us. He says that he is willing to protect them. is brave, he is willing to protect them. That is the word sent by big chief through the white chief. If his people, if the Native Americans are willing to obey, he is willing to protect them. His brave armies will be to us a bristling wall of strength, and his great ships of war will fill our harbors so that our ancient enemies far to the northward, the Tsimshians and the Haidas, will no longer frighten our women and old men. So he's telling his brave armies. So once he become our father, his army will be there to protect us. His army will be a bristling wall of strength, will be a vigorous wall of strength. And his great ships, and being great warriors, valiant people, the whites are described as valiant ones. That is why they have conquered all these lands. So being the bristling wall of strength and his great ships of war, that is his warships, will fill our harbors once they occupy our land. Once they become the master of a land, their warships will fill our entire harbors. So that our ancient enemies far to the northward of Tsimshians and Haidas will no longer frighten our women and old men. So what's going to be our benefit is that our ancient enemies, that is, this Native American tribes, had enmity with certain other tribes of Native America itself. They are the Tsimshians, Haidas, and so. These Tsimshians, Haidas, and so used to quite often come and frighten the women and the old men of this Chief Seattle tribe. So he's telling once this grandfather gets the control of a land or take the control of a land, his brave armies will become a strong wall of protection, and the great ships will fill our harbors, and thus we no longer need to be afraid of our common tribal enemies like Tsimshians and the Haidas. Then will be our father and we will be his children. So what's going to happen once he occupy this land, or once he gets the control of this land, is that then he will be our father. He will be the one who looks after us. Thus he will be our father and we will be his children, and thus we will become his children. But can this ever be? Your God loves your people and hates mine. He folds his strong arms lovingly around the white man and leads his infant son, and leads him as a father leads his infant son. But he has forsaken his stray children. He makes your people wax stronger every day, and soon they will fill all the land, while my people are ebbing away like a fast receding tide that will never flow again. So he's telling, but can this ever be? Can this ever happen? Can your God or can your big chief consider our tribe as your own children? But can this ever be? Your God loves your people. Your God loves only your people and hates mine. And your God not only loves your people, at the same time, He hates our people. He folds His strong arms lovingly around the white man and leads him as a father leads his infant son. What your God used to do always is that He folds His strong arms lovingly around the white man and leads him as a father leads his infant son. He is showing way for your tribal people, for your people to move forward, just like a father shows way for his infant son. But he has forsaken. He has forsaken means he has avoided. He has forsaken his stray children. He never minds stray children. He makes your people wax strong every day. He makes your people become wax strong every day, become more stronger day by day. And soon they will fill all the land. And so what's going to happen now is that your people will fill all the land, while my people are ebbing away ebbing, meaning going to get washed away, like fast receding tide that will never flow again. Like fast receding tide, meaning fast withdrawing tide. Fast withdrawing tide that will never flow again. Your God is giving importance only for your people. As a result, what's going to happen to my tribe is that since there is no one to look after them, they will be washed away from this shore, just like a tide which is withdrawing, just like a fast receding tide, meaning fast withdrawing tide that will never flow again. The white man's God cannot love his red children, or he would protect them. I'm sure white men's God. I'm sure that white men's God cannot love his red children. He can never love red children and he would never protect them. Moreover, your God is never going to protect us. They seem to be orphans and can look nowhere for help. So, what's the present plight of the Red Indians or the Native Americans is that our tribal people is that they seem to be orphans. They're just like orphans. They're just like people without anyone and can look nowhere for help. And they cannot get help from anywhere. How then can we become brothers? If it is so, how is it possible for us to become brothers? It is impossible. We can never be like brothers.